Hey, welcome to another episode of Fight or Flight. Thank you, Fight Family, for joining us. I'm your man 3D. I'm with man Captain J, and we've got another great show in store for you. We got another special guest today. Pro boxer Joey Aguilar. Knocking motherfuckers out. So let's get Joey up in here and welcome him to the Fight Family.
All right. Before we introduce him, though, let's just give the followers a little clip and let them see what he's about before we hear what he's about. All right, welcome to the show, Joe Aguilar. How you doing, my man? Pro boxer, Mr. Chad ENT himself. Welcome to Fight or Flight, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, man. So, first off, how you been holding up during this whole pandemic thing?
Man, I mean, ain't nothing changed with me with my day job. I work at the hospital, so that's been going smooth. So I'm glad I've been in work, but boxing stopped for me for now. Well, besides fighting stopped, but I'm still training every day, still going hard. Like I'm fighting, man. I'm just trying to stay ready for when I get that call.
Definitely.
How is it with this COVID stuff working at the hospital, my man?
It's kind of hectic, Well, I mean, it got hectic for a minute, but it's kind of the same deal.
Gotcha.
We
just turn your phone sideways for me, will you?
You said what?
Turn your phone sideways for me so we get a bigger screen for you. Oh, there we go.
Like that?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
perfect.
Good looking. Now we can see it. We can see that face, man. You're a good looking man. What made you get into boxing and try to beat that thing up?
Man, I just had anger issues as a kid, and my uncle took me in there, and it calmed me down a lot. But I never stuck with it until I had a kid of my own, because I didn't have no direction on what I was doing in life, and I was just taking precious time away from my boy, going to the gym, lifting weights, and just losing weight. And I was just like, I got to get back to doing something and chasing a dream and a goal. And so I dedicated myself to boxing and just been on the grind ever since.
We seen you were the regional Golden Glove champ. You're a two-time Oregon's Golden Glove champ. Besides that, what else you got going on for you coming up with this COVID stuff shutting everything down? What's in the works for you?
Man, I'm just training, trying to stay ready for that fight. I got my brand. It's called Jab, Joe Aguilar Boxing. Still trying to push that as much as I can. But other than that, man, I'm just focusing on staying positive and keep the grind going. So when they do call me, I'm ready.
Yeah, man. Following you on Instagram, it definitely looked like you staying ready, so you ain't got to get ready. You know what I'm saying?
Already know.
Man, I seen I caught a couple of them sparring sessions. You beating up on your partners in the gym there,
Man.
So
it goes both ways. Ways,
most definitely. Yeah,
they get their fair share on me too. I got the best team, man. It goes both ways.
Tell us a little about that. Where you boxing out of?
Right now I'm out of Go Hard MMA and Fitness on 181st and Halsey, and we got our head coach JC Wade, and the boxing program's called B2T Boxing. So it's bottom to the top boxing, and we've been trying to keep it low key, so so we don't get fined for being open. But we've been in there grinding.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I saw on your Instagram, you and the homie Brian Sanchez went out to Vegas and did some work with these guys out there. What was that at the Mayweather gym?
Yes, sir. We went to the Mayweather gym. So our gym owner has he knows somebody that's in tight with the Mayweather gym, so he made some calls and got us the get up there and get that good training in there. Just to kind of see where we're at level wise and and get that world class sparring and training just to be in there with some of the best to do it. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. So when you was there any like names or anything like that you worked with that was like some other guys that are coming or anything like that?
Well, Brian actually got to spar Rolly. I don't know if you guys heard of Rolly. Yeah, Brian got to spar
Rolly Romero. Yeah,
and then like a couple months later, Rolly fought for that world title and won.
Yeah,
but I sparred the number. I think he's ranked like number 7 in the world at 135, and so I sparred him, and yeah, I mean we both went to work. Our cardio weren't as top as theirs, but we gave them a good solid 4 or 5 rounds.
Yeah, we walking around at sea level out here. They're in that high desert, so they got a little bit of advantage on us out here.
A little advantage, little.
No, I seen. Speaking of your clothes and whatnot, I seen you out here trolling Jake Paul as he's trolling all these UFC fighters, man.
Yeah, man. It gets personal with Jake Paul. It gets personal because he doesn't. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
You can hear me. It's kind of glitching on my side. You guys can hear me though?
Yeah, I can hear you clear. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Jake Paul, man, he hits a sensitive spot for me because he's not out here. He's getting the fame that people like me, Brian, and my team and people who are getting it from the mud. He's getting the fame that I think we deserve to be getting more than him. And so it's a little personal for me because and I mean he's not a fighter and he's acting like he belongs up there with the best. And I mean you're calling out a retired MMA fighter who's like 6 classes under you, bro. It's like that's not what fighters do. So
yeah.
So, I mean, kudos to him. He's getting his money. He's doing his thing. But you can't jump in this sport and just think you're the best when you ain't fighting nobody.
Hey, yeah. At the end of the day, it's about money. He's just out here trying to make some money, bring some attention to it. I think that's the positive maybe out of all of it is bringing some attention back to boxing. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, it might be bringing attention back to boxing, but
not for the right reason.
I'd rather do it with I'd rather do it with people who deserve it. You know what I mean? Like the Earl Spence and Sean Porter fight, or no, Earl Spence and Danny Garcia, and Lopez and Lomachenko. Like those fights are the fights I need to be bringing back, not Logan Paul versus Nate Robinson.
Yeah, right, exactly.
NBA player, you know what I mean? So
exactly.
Well, speaking on that, what did you think of? Since you caught that, did you catch the Tyson Jones Jr. fight?
I caught it.
What's your thoughts on that?
It kind of played. I thought it would. I mean, Mike Tyson still looked good. He still looked like a beast. Roy Jones still looked all right, but man, there's a lot of holding and hugging going on. So I kind of, I didn't have high standards for it in the first place. So
I mean, we talking about some 50-year-old dudes. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. So have you heard that Michael Jai White
still looks scary though?
So, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, have you seen that Michael Jai White is trying to get in the ring with Mike Tyson for the next one?
Oh, is he?
That's what they're reporting. I've seen multiple reports about them trying to make that fight happen. Mike Tyson even said the movie he did on him was bullshit. It was garbage. So it's like the shots has been fired, on both sides. So, but if that fight was to happen, in your opinion, as a pro, how do you think that would go?
Are we talking about Michael J. White, the actor?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Is he a real fighter? Has he ever fought?
He is a real martial artist. He is a real martial artist.
He's known to spar with everybody from Bones Jones on down.
Yeah. He
for real.
yeah.
So he can get
He
down.
will pop up at the gym on you.
But that's the thing. You know, a lot of people say he can get down, but there's not a lot of footage of this actually happening.
Exactly.
Right. I don't know, man. That's something. I mean, I think it'll be exciting to see. Mike Tyson, he's back in his prime, the baddest, man. He's still one of the baddest, dude. He can still move. He still got it.
I think he found Vitor Belfort's TRT.
For real. Yeah.
All right. For 2021, give me an ideal situation for Joey Aguilar in his pro boxing career. Like, for example, what's your dream fight? And let us know what weight class you're fighting at these days too. With COVID, you know, everybody's packing on these pounds. So you staying where you at, or what's going on?
Nah, I mean, I packed on my fair share of pounds. I'm not walking around where I should be walking around at, but I'm down to 168, and I plan on staying at between 165 and 170. That's where I plan on staying. But 2021, man, I'm just riding waves. I'm just riding waves and going with the flow, and hopefully something pops up. And when it does, I'll be ready.
So what's your dream fight? At all the fighters in your weight class walking around, who would you like to see yourself going against?
For my next fight?
Nah, just you personally. Dream fight.
Your dream fight.
Oh, like up there. Like when I get up there.
Yeah, when you get to that title, who's there?
Man.
When you get to the title, who's standing across you from you?
Man, there's a bunch of people standing across from me. There's a lot of young hot prospects coming up. You know, like Edgar Berlanga, 16-0, 16 first-round KOs. That's a hot prospect.
Yeah, he's hot right now. He is hot right now.
I can't overlook him, you know, and when I get up there, I will have to fight him. So, you know, I'm looking at him, and then, you know, there's Caleb Plant. There's there's David, what's his last name?
Benavidez.
Yeah. The David Benavidez, you know, Canelo just fought again at 168. There's the gatekeepers, Danny Jacobs and Gabriel Rosaro. You know, there's a couple other people too, man. There's a lot of killers at that weight class. There's a lot of killers.
Yeah, sure. So, well, who would you want to fight? You're going for the belt. All the money's on the line, but you have to pick your toughest rival. Who is that going to be standing across from you? Who's that boss?
The toughest rival, man.
In your mind,
I'd have to say, oof. They're all tough, bro. They're all tough. I would have to say Canelo's the man to beat, bro. Canelo's the man to beat right now. So if I'm picking the toughest and I want the fight, then it's going to have to be Canelo when I get up there.
Oh, without a doubt. Arguably, pound for pound, the number one man out there.
Yeah, he's the toughest one, man. But David Benavidez and Edgar Berlanga, you can't sleep on him.
Yeah. In my opinion, I think that's who would probably be champion at that weight class by the time you get to ascend to that level.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like you're a lot slicker and faster than Berlanga, just in my opinion on watching both of y'all fight. You know, so I think those are some advantages that you have over him. So, you know,
man, I appreciate it. I've been looking at that world class level too, and I haven't seen anything too impressive from him besides the fact that he can hit. You know, you can't deny that because he knocked motherfuckers out in the first round. So
he got that. He do got that.
So he can hit, man. But other than that, I haven't seen anything too impressive from him.
Yeah. Well, I definitely can't wait to see you get to that level, man. I appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing all this with us. Can't wait to have you back on. You know, when we celebrating that first world title.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys having me, bro, for real.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Next time we get you on the show, hopefully you 10-0 or maybe just 2-0, but we got some jab gear so we can represent you too out here, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Likewise, bro. Have a good one.
All right, man. You too.
Peace.
Hey.
All right, you guys. So that was our interview with pro boxer Joey Aguilar. He's a local kid on the scene. Go ahead and check him out. His website is jabent.org. That's where you can get his gear and support the cause. It's a local kid, man. Hot prospect. What you think, Dave?
I think he's a very hot prospect. You know, my man has a lot of intangibles that can take him all the way to that title. And for us here in Portland to have a homegrown champion, you know, I don't think we had that since Steve Forbes. You know what I'm saying? So, Yeah, I'm looking forward to my man Joey getting up there and competing at that next level.
There you go. There's a little sneak peek at some gear. Like I said, jabent.org. Check out your man and support your local talent, man. Uh-oh. Let me get that off the screen. Still representing. Oh. All right. Let's just get down to it, man. This is all they're pumping for January, like there ain't a couple cards before then. With this bull shenanigans. Man. But Conor versus Poirier, man.
Yeah.
Has the needle changed at all since last time we talked about this?
Not at all. I feel more leaning towards Conor, bro. I'm watching his training. The man is yoked, like
they say in best shape of his life.
3 years.
Didn't we hear this last time when he faced Cowboy? Greatest shape of his life, ready to fight 5 times this year.
Yeah.
Woo.
But he was ready, bro. He was. Everything was true.
But he took on Cowboy, who wasn't necessarily on a run. He came off a couple losses himself. And deja vu, Conor's coming back, and he's facing a dude coming off a loss. I guess he got the hooker fight in.
Bro, think about this. We're saying that Conor McGregor's what do you call it? Warm up or get back fight was against Donald Cerrone, one of the all-time greatest MMA fighters in the history of the sport. I mean, it's not. We gotta stop acting like he's fighting Joe Blow. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, it wasn't Joe Blow, but it was Cowboy off 3 knockouts already. You know what I mean? It wasn't Cowboy at his finest. I'll give
you that. I'll give you that point.
And even in the fight itself, it didn't even look like Cowboy. Like we've seen Cowboy, what makes him known for who he is his durability. He'll get beat up. He'll take a beating and come back and win. He took a shoulder to the nose and went down like he's never been in a fight before.
Bro, it broke his nose. The shoulder broke his nose. I mean,
come on, man.
And he got kicked in the jaw.
Come on, man.
That was the worst probably ass whooping he's taken in a long time, even over Gaethje and the other guy.
I don't know about that. Here's the real question. Let's go back to it.
Okay.
So we know Dana White's going to try to push Khabib for one more fight. He knows Khabib really ain't trying to mess with Conor. That's it. He said, you can't even give me the UFC. I won't even fight him if you give me the company. So we know GSP is probably that one fight that Khabib's going to come back for. So highly doubtable that he's going to come back and represent the belt. So should this one be for the belt?
Bro, I still think so. I believe. Look, you're not going to have another high-profile fight. This is your biggest guy. Okay, even with those guys, bro. I mean, again, like Oliveira, is he really the man over in Brazil like that? You know what I'm saying? Hooker, Chandler, come on, man. Like, these are all great fighters, but like I said, you got your marquee guy. Dustin Poirier was the last interim champion, and then you got your biggest star. Who his only loss.
But you're not even excited for this fight, though. You already think this is going to be
excited for what fight?
Second round knockout.
I'm excited to see how the knockout comes. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this all plays out. I feel like Conor. I want to see what this year long of training, all this muscle that you got. What are you gonna do with it? Is it gonna be an issue when are you gonna get fatigued quick? They've always said that was his kryptonite, is his conditioning. So let's see.
You're putting on more muscle, Mr. I got 2 rounds of punches, 3 rounds. I've never finished a fight after 3 rounds. Like, I think the blueprint to beat Connor is out there. It's just if those guys can get past 2 rounds, that's all you got to do.
I put it like this:
he's not knocking nobody out past the 3rd round, unless it's out of pure exhaustion.
We ain't seen that yet, though. We just haven't seen that yet. Not saying it's not
because he doesn't have the gas tank. Connor hits so heavy, he throws like a heavier weight, but he gasses out quick though too.
But think about it. We've only seen that in 2 fights. We only seen him go the distance with Diaz once, and we seen him go 4 rounds with Khabib. Outside of that, none. He went 3 rounds with Max Holloway at 145. But I'm just saying, like, but he won that fight with Max Holloway. He didn't knock him out. But we talking about Max Holloway. He's a tough motherfucker. I haven't seen anybody knock out Max Holloway. So
yeah, nobody is going to. I don't think he got that Samoan blood in him. I'm not too worried about that guy. He's a natural warrior.
There you go. But yeah, bro, I feel.
Since we're talking about Conor and Poirier, we talk about number 1 contender fights. Right. Let's talk about the other one that they're trying to make. So Oliveira versus Gaethje.
So I'm a little concerned about this fight for Gaethje, and I think it's prime for Oliveira to come in and look like a superstar and continue to climb to that number 1 spot where he finally gets his shot at the title. Because we just seen Gaethje get fucking choked unconscious by Khabib. And then you're telling me he's going to go in the ring with the guy who has the most submission victories in the sport or in UFC, So I mean, that don't sound sexy for Gaethje.
But Gaethje don't really have a choice. I mean, once you're up there, now you have a spot to maintain and hold, and it's like these guys are all worthy of a title shot. Oliveira's coming off a 8-fight win streak right now.
Yeah, he's on the roll.
I mean, he's on his momentum is going up. Gaethje's is on its way back down. He's already reached the top, and we know there's only one way to go from there. We know Gaethje's a game fighter. I don't know. I really don't know because Oliveira, he's like the opposite of Tony for me, to where I think Tony feeds off the fans. I think Oliveira has less pressure and he fights better without the fan base.
Hey, that could very well be true because we've seen him get on a roll before and on some Donald Cerrone type shit, get to that big spot and not perform well. But he's been performing real well lately, finishing guys. He didn't finish Tony, did he? He did. Yeah, he did. No? Yeah. But my whole thing with Oliveira though is
he finished him more impressively than Gaethje did, and Gaethje worked him.
And see, that's what I'm saying, man. Oliveira gonna come in. His striking is better than Tony. His striking is better than Gaethje. Gaethje has a great leg kick and a beautiful overhand right and left hook. Those are his 3 strongest strikes. Now, but when he gets into when it comes to the kicks, the knees, the flying knees, the elbows, all that stuff, we talking Oliveira. Oliveira has way more weapons in his striking arsenal than Gaethje does. And then we know that Gaethje has this great college wrestling background, but we know Oliveira, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. And right now he's sitting at the top of the list of the most submission victories in the UFC.
No doubt. And I think that's what makes it a very interesting fight because it's who's going to impose their will on the other one. You had Gaethje, who was on the highest confidence going into that Khabib fight, and then you just get demoralized and sent packing back to the U.S. from Fight Island with your worst defeat you've probably taken. You know what I mean? And then you got Oliveira, who's coming off that Tony Ferguson fight, feeling real good about beating the boogeyman. And he's on a roll right now. I think momentum is a lot. Momentum and confidence together make people a dangerous fighter. But with that said, is this a more appealing fight to you at 155 than Poirier-Conor 2?
No. Only because Oliveira, you beat Tony. You know what I'm saying? If you beat Gaethje, okay. But I feel like if I was to run the tournament in my head, there's I don't see anybody beating Conor. I just don't see anybody beating him at that weight class except Khabib, because Khabib has the ground game. Now, Oliveira might pose some problems if he comes in there with the intention to take Conor down and submit him. I think he can do that. I think Oliveira might be the most sexiest opponent to come in and try to do that to Conor. But if he tries to stand up with Conor, no.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about another fight at 155, and we'll see if that one is more entertaining than these two that we just talked about. All right. And we back. Let's talk about this 155 division. Stay on topic, because we talked about Conor and Poirier 2. We talked about Oliveira, Gaethje. And now let's talk about the co-main event on that card with Conor and Poirier. Hooker versus Chandler.
Yeah. I think Chandler, if he comes in and imposes that wrestling, that might be his best bet. But I do know the dudes over at City Kickboxing, their whole thing is working on takedown defense to impose their kickboxing. You see it with Izzy. You see it with a lot of guys coming out of that gym. And then Hooker, I mean, if you look at his takedown defense ratio, is pretty high. So standing up, I feel like Hooker definitely has the advantage. He's taller, longer, seems a little bit more skilled. Michael Chandler seems to be more boxing oriented. I know Hooker likes to throw a couple of kicks. He's not kick heavy, but he'll throw a couple of kicks. But just him having the long range with the longer arms, I think is going to play a huge factor if the fight remains standing. So, what you think?
I think this might be the most intriguing matchup out of all three of them, to be honest with you. I think it might be the most entertaining. This is going 5 rounds, right? As a co-main event?
No, it's only three rounds.
Only
three rounds.
That makes the intrigue a little bit more, because they're going to have to put their foot on the gas pedal from the very beginning. They ain't going to be a first round kind of filling each other out. City Kickboxing has just been on a roll, so it's hard to bet against anybody coming out of that gym right now. Like, those guys are riding a huge wave of confidence, beating up everybody out here. Even their guys, all their training partners coming on the Contender Series, beating people up. You know what I mean? So I know they feel good about themselves. I think this is a lot of pressure on Chandler, but I think he's been a professional long enough. He's been a champion in other organizations that I don't think it's going to affect him as much. But when you hear about these pro fighters and they talk about other organizations, they do say there is a big difference when you get to the big leagues, like the big show.
We have to factor in the UFC is where the heaviest amount of talent is. You know what I'm saying? So we got to factor in that Chandler ain't never fought nobody on Hooker's level. Hooker has fought the Poiriers and a lot of the top 10 guys already in the UFC. So
confident. He's confident for sure.
Yeah, so this is big for Chandler. Like this, even though Hooker's name ain't in that upper echelon of Khabib and Connor and those guys, Hooker is a top 5 guy. So it's like, if you beat him,
this is a really test for Chandler to see if you even belong over here in the UFC. Like this is the middle. This is upper echelon talent, but this ain't the cream of the crop here. So
exactly,
you got some room to show what you're really going to bring over to this organization. Because Chandler's not a young guy either. That's the other thing that people forget. He's in the prime of his career now, so this is a huge statement fight. He can't afford to have a little bit of a setback, especially an ugly loss.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I think if he loses by decision and it's a nice battle, a little war, it is what it is. I think the thing that we're not talking about any of these fights that was just announced recently is Abu Dhabi is going to have fans in the building for these fights.
Yeah.
So that's not.
Uncle Dana wasn't going to let Connor fight without no fans. That's why it took a year to get to this point.
So for me, I think that that plays a little factor into this fight for me because I think Hooker is one of those guys. He's a brawler that loves to hear the crowd roar. He's going to stand in the middle and bang with you. He plays off that emotion. He feeds off of it. So having that crowd in there, I think, gives an edge to Hooker, and it puts a little more pressure on Chandler. Not that he hasn't fought in front of crowds, but it is your first UFC fight coming in, and you don't have to worry about the fans or nothing like that. Like,
right.
Now you have to factor these guys back in too. You know what I mean? Like, it does play a role in it, and these guys going back to that. Some people, like they say, can be in the training room and be Bones Jones in the training room, but you put them out when the lights turn on, and they look like Tarzan and they fight like Jane.
Right.
When the lights come on.
Turning into Diego Sanchez. Hey, but I feel like I do agree with you. This is going to be a great fight. I don't feel like Hooker has that one punch knockout power, nor does Chandler, to end this fight with a one big punch. If the fight does end quickly, I think it'd be off of a flash knockdown that leads to a TKO. I don't think these guys are going to be trying to wrestle. I don't think they're going to be going for submissions. They're going to be standing up and banging.
I think Chandler will. Chandler, if he's smart, will.
That's what I'm saying. If he come in and try to implement his ground game, even if his ground game is what do you call it, ground and pound heavy, you know what I'm saying? Like that will be I think his best bet. But I think he's gonna come out and he's gonna try to put on a show. He's gonna try to, show he's worthy or he's deserving of this opportunity to fight in the UFC and to fight these upper echelon guys, to jump right into the mix for the title, because you were just asking, should he even be considered for a title fight? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, bro. I feel like this. If you beat Hooker and one more of the other top 5 guys, it's no question. You belong and you deserve a shot at that belt. But
I think if he beats Hooker, he shows he belongs. Like Hooker, he's, like I said, he might not be the upper echelon of guys, but he's right there.
For the title, though?
Yeah, because he came in to be the backup for the title. He was already the champion from the other organization. Let's not discredit Bellator like that.
Bro, he wasn't the current champion, though.
Well,
he wasn't the current champion who vacated his title to come to UFC. And also, I want to factor in, bro, his last win was a knockout over Ben Henderson, who was the UFC champion almost 10 years ago. So it's just like, come on. That's what I'm saying. You gotta prove yourself. And if he beats Hooker, yeah, I'll give him his props. You belong here. You know what I'm saying? But title, I don't feel comfortable with that.
Well, I think between these 3 fights, the 2 who win the most impressive is going to be for the title. So
right.
I think out of Connor, obviously if Connor wins, he's jumping in the title fight. And between Hooker, Chandler, Gaethje, and Oliveira, whoever has the best win out of these 2 fights jumps in there against Connor and has a little bit of a name.
So I feel like by the time we get to this January, by the time we get to April, May, maybe even June, we're gonna see Oliveira versus Conor McGregor for the lightweight championship. And Conor McGregor will be coming in as the champion at that point because I believe that Conor McGregor versus Poirier, unless Dana White is given a big bag of money to to Khabib. Khabib is about to relinquish that title this weekend or next weekend, bro. So I mean, come on, bro. It's like, come on. Like, I don't even know why you holding on to it, bro. You making moves. You like started your own promotion over in Russia and all that. Like, bro, it's okay. Let it go.
The thing is, you don't think that Khabib was paying attention. He might not like Conor, but he see what Conor went and did, and he's like, oh, okay. I'm gonna go build my own brand up. I'm coming back with all my Russian homies. You know what I mean? I think what it really was is his boy. Who's his boy in his division? Islam?
Yeah.
He's getting no love because we already have one Russian that is running shit. So we don't need to promote another guy. But I think Khabib's little sidestep is to get his guy a chance to move up in there. And then as soon as he steps away, Islam will be in position because right now he's just sniffing the top 10. He'll be in position, in a top 5 position, to go for that belt and make some moves.
See, yeah, I think
because Islam has.
I think Khabib is being petty as fuck. Now, if Dana had just came out and said, "Okay, Poirier versus McGregor is for the lightweight championship," he would have been like, "Oh wait, I'm the champion. I'm pound for pound." He would have came back out of retirement like that on some petty shit. But because Dana's being respectful and like, oh no, well, no, it's not for the title. I gotta talk to Khabib. Like you put him Khabib in the driver's seat, like he the boss. You know, like
he has
so.
To. And Khabib is forcing him to do that because right now Conor is the boss. Conor does what he wants. Khabib wants to take and be the boss. But imagine if you're a real gangster, Khabib is making gangster moves. I run shit. This is how it's gonna go, Dana. I'm gonna come back for one more fight. I'm gonna open this catch weight with GSP. We'll set it off and get that rolling. My boy Islam is gonna fight. He's gonna get in top 10 position, top 5 position. He's gonna win his next fight against a Kevin Lee or somebody like that. Slide into that top 5, and boom, I'm gonna send Islam to come choke out Conor. I don't even have to come. He's a bum. I'm gonna send my ace. I'm gonna send my ace over here to come choke him out, Dagestan style. And if he doesn't, that's a greater reason for Khabib to come back. Like, oh, you think you got one up on Russia? Boy, I'll come back out of retirement and smack you. And we'll get 5 times the amount of money we were going to get fighting right now.
Bro, come on. Islam, he can't fucking with McGregor. Let's be real, man. Come on. You're not fucking with McGregor. But you know what?
That's how we thought about all these Russians going against them in wrestling in the Olympics, and then they just run right through people. Like, who the hell are these dudes?
Have you watched Islam fight? You've seen him fight, right? He's not wrestle heavy like Khabib. He can wrestle. He can wrestle because
they're all wrestle heavy.
But his game ain't wrestle heavy like Khabib, which opens him up to get knocked out. But I got to see Islam fight some top tier competition. I mean, right now I think he's ranked number 12 in the rankings. I believe he's ranked 12.
I'm just saying, as promotions go, Khabib is a great businessman too. Don't sleep on him just because he's very humble over there playing chic.
Oh, he ain't humble. He's petty as fuck. This is a petty move. This is I'm not gonna give up the championship unless I know that you're not fighting for it. That's what it is.
Wouldn't you be petty to your arch rival?
Bro, I'm out the game. I'm over here running shit in Russia. I don't get.
And you're still gonna be petty because you're not. You still got your foot in the door. Let's be real. He still wants that GSP fight. He still wants to go down as the greatest, not the greatest 155er.
That's what he's trying to do, though. That's what's making it frustrating. Is every time Khabib talks about fighting George, he wants George to come down to 155, and George is like, bro, I just fought for the middleweight championship last time I was in the UFC. What are you talking about? 155. I killed myself to get to 185. I'm a 170-pound fighter. Like maybe I can to meet you at 165, where me and you agree that would be like the ultimate fight because Khabib's not depleting himself completely, and GSP is just going just a little bit past 170, where he's usually comfortable to come down and fight Khabib. You know, but Khabib's not. He's not giving no wiggle room here. He wants to fight him at 155. And it's like, bro, look, GSP is like in his mid to late 30s. All right. Look, he's not coming down to 155. Get that out your head. It's not happening. You know, so that's prolonging the fight. Then if you try to say I'm still champion at 155 because you want GSP to come to 155 and you still the champion, Dana's not going to let that happen because the last time he let GSP fight for the world title, GSP walked off into the sunset with his belt. So it's like, bro, these things like it's
yeah,
like.
But then look what happened at that 185 division. All of a sudden, you got the hottest superstar in the UFC is now occupying that division that GSP opened up.
True. I mean, but he about to fuck it up because he leaving and going to light heavyweight.
I think he might be back sooner than he realizes.
You know, and I hear that. I hear that people think that Izzy might come back to 185, but I feel like if we're going to get Izzy versus Izzy versus John Jones in 2021, Raider Stadium. If we're gonna get that fight like he predicted, bro, why would you even fuck with going back down to 185? Stay at 205.
3 pound, three weight class champion. Never been done.
Oh, you think? Well, that's another thing. That's a whole nother conversation, maybe a different show. Stipe is fucked up the heavyweight division, bro. He's totally fucked it up. You know, this motherfucker fight once a year. He fights once a year, and they don't make no interim champions for the heavyweight division for whatever reason. I don't know why. But Stipe gets hurt every time he fights, and then he takes the whole year off. So the title gets defended once a year. John Jones is not going to get if Dana said Ngannou is next up in March. God forbid Stipe wins that fight again. Because if he wins the rematch again, that means John Jones isn't getting the title shot till 2022. And he gonna just be putting on muscle for the next 2 years. And so it's like, look, bro, John has to fight somebody at heavyweight that is not named Stipe. You know what I'm saying? If he wants to get his feet wet at heavyweight. And I pray to God that my Cameroonian cousin knocks his ass out.
Come back to that in a second.
Okay, yeah.
So, like you're saying,
yeah,
John Bones Jones.
Yeah.
So Bones versus who at heavyweight?
Bro, I feel like, look.
We know Stipe and Francis are going to fight. That fight's going to happen.
I wouldn't mind seeing John versus Derek Lewis. I wouldn't mind seeing John versus Curtis Blades. You know, one of these guys.
I think he wrecks Curtis Blades, though. Like, all honesty, I'll give Derek Lewis a puncher's chance. But after seeing how easily DC dismantled him, people forget John Jones has wrestling too, and there's a reason DC couldn't wrestle him to death to beat him. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think Bones will take that video and run with it. You know what I mean? Take him to the ground. You can't punch me as hard as you can unless you're Kevin Holland off your back. You know what I mean? So I think John is just getting stronger to take people down and go back to his old ground and pound days. And that's how he's going to neutralize a lot of these heavyweights. Because let's be real, DC was the same way. At heavyweight, he's very wrestling based, and he takes these big dudes down. He picks them up, He drops them on their back and he grounds them out to neutralize them being 6'5" and him being 5'10".
Yeah.
Jones has always used his length to his advantage, keeping these dudes punching at a distance, but these heavyweight guys have the same length now. He's facing these guys, and that's what was catching up to him at 205 as these guys started showing up 6'4", 6'5", 205, just like John Jones, because he set the prototype fighter. Everybody wanted to be the baddest dude, so if you could look like him, emulate him, and he was starting to see a lot of his clones show up. So he had to bump up to heavyweight.
Hey, you might be right. You might be right because, like you said, a puncher's chance versus Derek Lewis. But if Derek Lewis hits John, I have never seen John take a clean punch, but maybe 4 or 5 times.
He's caught him a couple times.
But there you go, a couple times. Like I'm saying, like
well,
we never seen
that's one of John's strengths. He doesn't take a lot of damage.
Right.
No, because Reyes had him in trouble. Reyes caught him with some clean shots for sure. I've never seen him. He's never been dropped. So obviously we've never seen anybody land anything clean. But Reyes caught him and dazed him for sure. That's how he got some of those rounds from John. But heavyweights, when they're bigger, just like Adesanya was saying, is they're slower. You might hit harder, but you're not throwing them fast. That 205 is like the primo because you could hit like a heavyweight, but you're fast like a middleweight. You know what I mean? But you're a light heavyweight. Like that. Those are because those guys are pretty much heavyweight. They're cutting down from 220, 230, 240. That's what Stipe walks around at. 240. You know what I mean? So they basically are heavyweights cutting down, and they're faster though. They're the leaner ones out of some of these.
The thing is if Stipe was more of an active champion, I see John beating him easy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I see John beating him easy. But the fact that he doesn't fight often and John
only because John would take him down, I think. If John stood with him, he might have some problems.
What about that one guy that Ngannou just knocked out?
Rosenstrike?
Rosenstrike. That'd be a good fight.
For Bones?
I'm just saying you got to get his feet wet. He ain't got to fight like the creme de la creme. You know what I'm saying? It's like
he does. He's Bones Jones. Because if he takes a loss, it's like Buster Douglas beating him. You can't afford that. You can't afford that in the UFC. Like the dude who beats him, you're gonna springboard that to he's gonna bump up and get some rub off that. You just beat John Bones Jones. So you do want a guy like a Rosenstrike or Derek Lewis, somebody that can boost up their street cred and following a little bit so you can market them. But I don't see them really posing threat. Like I said, man, I watched Bones face the Rampage Jacksons, all these dudes who were supposed to, they're the same. The Rashad Evans, like these guys are heavyweights. These guys could be heavyweights if they wanted to. They just cut down to 205 and they're like Rampage to me is just a more athletic Derek Lewis. You know what I'm saying? They both kind of nonchalant. Yeah. Funny, they're just characters and they're here to just whoop ass. You know what I'm saying? Like
I don't see anybody in that top 5 that beats John. You know,
that's
why for Ngannou.
Why do you think John waited for the door to open at heavyweight? And he knew that was going to be a segue, easy thing for him to do up there.
Well, he thought, okay, I'm going to heavyweight. Now everybody's going to clamor for me to fight Stipe, and this fight going to happen in the next 6 months to a year. That's what he thought. Here we are, start 2021. And
no, he thought he can go for
it. And Dana said, you're not jumping the line. And Ngannou is getting his shot first. And they just showed a stat on Stipe and Ngannou. Since they fought, Ngannou is 4-1 and Stipe is 2-1. And the 2 is against Daniel Cormier. So I mean, the 3, the whole shit is against Daniel Cormier across 3 years. It's like, come on, bro. Like you gotta get out, let it go. Just be a firefighter. You know what I'm saying? You made your money. You live in a fat ass crib. Everything's taken care of. You know what I'm saying? The gym's nice. You still got your 12-hour shift job. Everybody loves you. You're a community hero, bro. Just let the belt go. Just let it go. Because what's going to happen is violently is going to be snatched from you by Ngannou.
All right, we're going to take a break real quick. We'll come back. We'll talk about something new. But if you're in town, local, and you need some film work done, go ahead and check out our guys over at Golden Rose Films. All right. Some snippets from 3D and his crew over at Golden Rose Films. Like I said, you need some work done. Check these guys out. They got some new material getting ready to roll out here soon. I'm excited for. Let's talk about another fight I'm excited for.
Yes.
Kobe versus Street Jesus. This is how we're going to wrap up the show talking about real entertainment. This is WWE worthy. It's like best friend training partners turn arch nemesis.
Bro, I think I'm waiting for the countdown more than I'm waiting for the fight.
Oh,
That's
no.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm waiting for the countdown more than I'm waiting for the fight because this is going to be one of the most shit talking heavy, like, I don't the perk of this whole thing for the UFC security wise is you don't have to put them in the same room until the actual day of the fight because of the COVID situation. But you know, these dudes are going to go ham on social media. The videos, the trash talk is going to be at an all-time high, and I cannot wait.
And I think the fight might live up to it. That's the beauty of it. We always get these good fights where like they go back and forth, and then the fight doesn't really live up to it because the hype was so damn good. This one, I think, is going to be super hyped up, but I think they really get to go at each other. And I would like to see them high five and laugh at us all and be like, man, we did it. We used to be nobodies. Now everybody knows us. We played to everybody. Hey, we're rich, bitch. You know what I'm saying? It works.
That would be nice.
My gym.
That would be nice, but I think these dudes genuinely hate each other. It's not going to go on like that. So my whole thing is okay. Let me rewind. Let me ask you this, Cap. Who do you favor winning that fight?
In all honesty, I'll be real. I like Kobe in this fight. I think technical wise, Kobe slept on just because he talks so much. He like people tune him out. But if you actually watch him fight in his fights, bro, he's game. He's in your face. All that shit he's talking, he comes in and he's backing it up. And I like his style. I like people that are relentless. They're always attacking because they're entertaining. And he got a lot of respect from me when he went after Usman like that because they thought he would be scared of him. He showed that he had no fear of this dude at all, and he was coming for him. And I think he might have got cheated because Usman did not get kicked in the balls. He got kicked, and he got the wind knocked out of him, and he got saved. He got saved right there. That could have been an ender because of the pressure Kobe puts on people. That's all I'm saying. That's his style.
Yeah.
And he caught him. I seen the replay. It wasn't anywhere near the family jewels. And that could have changed and altered the fight. Not that it didn't, but the fight still ended to where I'd want to see them run that back. I'm very intrigued by that matchup. And I use that only because besides these guys being best friends and training partners all those years at AT&T, this is the last common denominator between the two that I have to go off of. Right. Yeah, Street Jesus only fought him on 6 days notice, but Usman's been the champ, bro. If you haven't been training for the champ since this fool's had the belt, you're joking. Stop it. I don't want to hear 6 days. You've known this dude's had the belt. You've known you're going to fight this dude eventually. It was really, were you in shape or not in shape? So I'll give you that. You might not have been in the best shape that you can be, having a full camp to train for this. You know what I mean? But to act like you didn't know what Usman can do, Usman is not the most technical fighter to try to figure out what he's going to do to you.
I think fighters like Nate Diaz, Darren Till. Those fighters are tailor made for Street Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to stand and bang with him. And that's what he wants to do. You know, I've noticed his kicks and punches have gotten a lot harder since he got famous. You know,
Oh yeah.
but I will say this: I agree with you that Kobe has the edge because Kobe has the wrestling pedigree behind him, and he, like you said, he's a
Local,
dog. He's gonna
local
be on,
talent, man.
yeah, Oregon State, baby. And he's gonna be on him like dog meat. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be like relentless going against, especially to try to make a point. You know what I'm saying? And snatch all that fame from Masvidal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
now that Trump is out of office, he's gonna have to get all his fans just to ride this wave of he destroys all these shit talkers.
right.
You know, he's gonna play the heel. He can play the heel, and I think he'll be great at it.
Yeah. And so I favor Kobe to win that too. Based on, like you said, their styles. Um, I don't see Masvidal having that one punch. He's not gonna hit Kobe one time and knock Kobe out. I don't see that happening. So, and I've watched him wrestling at ATT. You know what I'm saying? And Kobe always was the one getting the best of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just
Yeah.
like I'm interested to see how that goes. But like I said, I'm more
So
interested
let
in
me
that
ask you
count
this:
there
though.
'cause
If we
crazy.
think that just off what we know,
Yeah,
we know Masvidal knows for sure
it's
how it's
gonna
going to
happen.
go.
Yeah, right. That's what he's
And
gonna try to
and
do.
it does seem like he is avoiding this huge matchup because it's like you just went for the belt, you lost, you're not going to get for the belt. They're not going to give Kobe a chance because Gilbert Burns has already been waiting for this opportunity. So what are you really waiting for?
Yeah,
There's a brand new year. There's some open dates. Go ahead and lock in your pay-per-view headlining thing. You know what I mean? This is a number one contender fight, even though you came
exactly.
off a loss. This could still be a number one contender fight and get you back on top of the game. But I think this is a very dangerous fight for Masvidal, and I think he's avoiding it because he knows that too.
Yeah, I agree because you know people are saying, "Oh, he said he wants to fight," but this is all Twitter talk. You know what I'm saying? The- where is the contracts? Where's the contract that it's so Dana wants to fight. So I know that if Dana wants to fight and both fighters are saying they want to fight, a contract should have been issued a long time. We should have been had a date, you know, but somebody's not not signing too quickly. And I think I agree with you. I think it might be Masvidal on his end because like we both said, in those sparring sessions that we've seen on from AT&T, you know, Kobe was getting the better of him in the wrestling exchanges. So it's like, do you have what it takes to stay on your feet? After we've seen you get thrown ragdolled around by Usman, I don't think so. You know
And
what I'm
I
saying?
think if they drag their feet too long and they get thrown on the undercard of the Usman uh, Burns fight, it would be sad because this should be the billing top top fight card. Like I want to see
It's a
the
main
embedded.
event. That
I
is a
want
main
to
event.
I want to see the main event. I want to see the embedded. I want to
Yeah.
see the behind the scenes, the whole thing. This is kind of unprecedented because we have Usman and Burns, former training partners, going against each other. And Burns was quick to take it. Usman, he accepted it. So we don't really know how those exchanges were going in the gym. You know what I mean? These two guys have admitted being roommates, not just
Yeah.
training partners. These guys live together. You know what I mean? These guys were very close. You know, they trained both of their styles. They're both dogs at the end of the day. That's why the fight is intriguing.
Yeah.
But we know that they know things about each other deep that it's like they know who's going to win between the two of them. They
See, I
have
feel
to.
I feel like this. I feel like on the wrestling mat, Kobe was probably getting the best of Masvidal. In the ring or in the cage where they tell him there's no takedowns. Just stand up, do kickboxing or do boxing. Masvidal is probably piecing up Kobe. You know what I'm saying? So he feels confident there. And so, but this is mixed martial arts. It's about putting it all together at the end of the day. And I just feel like, I don't know, man. You know, Kobe, I don't like Kobe. Don't get it twisted, folks. Fight family. I'm not a Kobe fan. I feel like he's corny. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You know, I'm not but the man can fucking fight.
That's me.
One of the funniest things is when he hurt Tyron Woodley's rib, and he's like, my rib.
No, and that's, he was on Woodley's ass for a long time, and he was chomping at the bit to get in there and get him out of there. It wasn't like, oh, I talked all that shit to come in here and respect you. No, he had no respect for Woodley, came in and came to demolish him. Yeah. And I think as a fight fan, that's what draws me to it. Like, all the other stuff, that's your character. But I'm a fight fan of good fighters. Like, people I know that can fight because I'm watching you, because you pose a threat to me because I know you can fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, danger, Will Robinson, danger. Yeah. Even though he's over 70, that man is dangerous. Be careful. You know what I mean? These dudes are for real. Kobe, with his antics, he gets put off a little bit. But I like it. I grew up watching WWF to WWE, to see him in the casino chasing down Dana White, demanding him a title shot. Like, I love it. As a fan, I love it. Like, I could care less who you vote for or who you back up. Like, that's not why I cheer for you. I cheer for you because when you get in the octagon, you do what I like to see, and that's fight. You know what I mean? And you bring it every time. And I got to respect you for that. You know what I mean? All that other stuff outside the ring, I know that's mostly entertainment. These guys just do it because it's what's going to help them get noticed. So Trump is about to be gone. This guy needs a new storyline. And playing the bad guy is something I think he could be very good at.
Oh, yeah. That's his whole MO. And that's what he's going to do. Kobe probably will never turn to the hero. You know what I'm saying? I think he's like, to me, Kobe is,
he'll never be Hacksaw Jim Duggan. You know what I'm saying?
Kurt Angle.
He turned bad though.
You know, what is it? Angle sucks. That whole thing. Yeah. There you go. Kobe sucks.
That's too funny. Well, that's going to be wrapping up for us on Fight or Flight. I'm your Captain Jay. I'm coming from Flight Lounge. If you're trying to get your smoke on, you're trying to get some of the best brunch in town, you know where to check us out. This is my man 3D. You can catch him at Golden Rose Films doing the most. But that's our show for this week. Thank you, guys. We out.